Recording in progress. Michael, how are you?
I'm good, man. Good. Good morning. How are you?
Good. So over here at the No Hissy Fit Zone podcast from Florida and Massachusetts.
Welcome.
Buddy, it was so cool to see you and your band play over there when I was in Massachusetts.
I can't even tell you.
That was awesome.
This is the, you and I have been friends a long time, but this is evidence of a friend going so far out of the way to make another friend's day. That was amazing. I mean, we're setting up in the side yard, drums are set up, we're just about ready to go. I'm looking at the weather because it was not cooperating. His car pulls up in front. I'm like, I don't recognize that car. And you get out and I'm like, boy, that looks a lot like Tony, but there's no way. And you start to walk up and I'm like, it's Tony. Of course, Lynn hears this and she sprints towards you like, oh my goodness.
That was so cool to meet her.
A lot of fun.
I like her a lot, man.
That was very special to me. Thank you.
So when you say that a friend going out of his way to do something, you're talking about you putting on a show big for me. That's a good friend.
Yeah, that's not quite what I was referring to, but just real fun, like you to spin it like that. So we're both, I guess we're both here to be either phenomenal or to be forgotten, one or the other.
Oh,
I like your shirt.
Thank you, man. So when I was up in Massachusetts, as you know, I was able to visit my family. We went to the Cape. We stayed in North Truro, right near Provincetown. It was really awesome. My mother was there and my siblings, except for one, because she's in the Azores right now. So my mother has 7 grandchildren and 7 great-grandchildren. We had like a private beach that was so cool because there's 11 units in the building. 8 of them were taken up by the Cabrals. And there was one lady that would come out every 2 hours and smoke 2 cigarettes and go back in. And that's all we saw as far as, there was a couple of people that we saw that we made friends with. So it was just an awesome thing. We had a little private beaches. It's so great. And my son Joshua lives in Norway, came as well.
He was there, huh?
He was there, and then he came to Tampa for to visit us for a few days. That was awesome. You get to see Ocean play live again. We hadn't seen him in 6 years, so that was so cool to see him. He's doing great.
Really?
Yeah.
Been that long?
That long, yeah.
Oh,
wow.
There's 11 units in this building, and your family had 8 of them. Wow.
Yeah. So a funny thing, while I was up there, one of my friends called me to see if I wanted to meet him at Joe's Albums in Worcester.
We've talked about Joe's Albums, haven't we?
Yeah, so he said, hey, meet me at Joe's Albums in 45. I got there in 33, which is really record time.
Did you get a speeding ticket on the way for going 78 to get there? Oh,
oh, buddy.
Oh,
that was good.
I went really old school. See what I did there?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, Stillface. I mean, I really like the way you guys played together. It's so cool. And all the singing was right on key. It was like nobody was off.
I don't know if you had a chance to meet my friend Ron or not yet, but Ron showed up there and great dude. And just before we start, he's kind of references to the band like, I'm a big fan, guys. I know all the lyrics, so if you need any help, let me know.
Yeah, I met him. When he said that, I thought, that's funny. He's the one that was saying to me, man, I wish I could hear the drums more because, the drums need more volume. I said, well, they're not mic.
So the drums are really low, huh? I guess I got to take that into account.
No, they weren't really low, but it would have been nice to have a little bit more sound, but it was awesome, though.
Well, the good news is we're doing it again. And so for people who weren't there, which is probably some people watching this, it was a lousy day weather-wise. I was watching the weather. I had people texting me saying, are you doing this? And at 3 o'clock, we were going to start at 3. At 3 o'clock, my iPhone said there's like a 30 or 40% chance of rain. And then getting worse. I'm like, oh boy. And then about noon or 1 o'clock, that 3 o'clock cleared up and that got pushed to 4 o'clock. I'm like, all right, we're going to start. I don't know how long we're going to go.
Yeah.
But we'll start. So we had a nice set going about, I don't know, I think we were probably 8 or 9 songs in. It was interesting. We just kind of put together a set list the night before, just of everything we have. And we went in order based on the tunings on the guitars. But I think we were 8 songs into our set before we did one from the CD. And of course, I had the CDs out for people to take. So that was interesting. And then we had some beans, apparently some really good beans. Did you get some of those baked beans?
Yeah, all the little snacks were good, man. It was really good.
Oh, and some hot dogs. We're doing a little break to eat. And all right, let's start again. And I'm looking at the sky, and it's just getting darker and darker. And we get about 3 songs into the next one. That's about 4:30. And we're playing this last. We're doing a little piece of No Quarter by Led Zeppelin. And I'm looking behind everybody, and the sky is just turning black. I mean, we're out watching horizontal lightning. There was a tree that was started to really blow. Actually, Lynn caught some video of it, which is hysterical. I'm like, oh my goodness. And so probably 40 yards behind where we're set up was the entrance to my bulkhead down in the basement. And we were done. And I finished that song before the kind of guitarists finish it out. And I literally just took my snare drum over my head and ran for the bulkhead.
I saw that. Then everybody.
It was a funny thing. Half the group just kind of like ran to their cars because it was torrential downpour. And the other half grabbed stuff and threw it in the basement for us. And
Yeah, no, it was amazing. I bought over the Marshall stack.
the Marshall stack, which one of the 20?
Yeah, Yingwei. So
Yeah.
everybody chipped in, bringing the stuff in. When I saw you grab the snare drum and run to the bulkhead there, I said, "Wow, this is awesome."
That got caught on video. I actually had it on my phone. Like, that's funny.
So
Oh,
I was
Enough of a fun time. Everybody enjoyed it enough. We kind of got talking about, wouldn't it be fun to do that again without the threat of bad weather? So we're going to go again September 4th, which is Labor Day weekend, which we just had to pick one because weekends go quick and either people are going to be gone and not be able to be there, or they'll be around with nothing to do and maybe they'll come out. So we're hoping again.
So if I'm a real friend, I should be there again, right?
Well, we don't need to go too crazy. Then you go from like really good friend who is incredibly selfless to like concerned stalker.
So I saw a couple of people with VIP passes for the show.
Yeah, I was actually trying to locate a couple of those for our podcast today. I don't want to go too far out of screen, but I planned better. I might have had one, but that was hysterical. So you walk up the sidewalk and you've got this lanyard on with our logo still, and then above it with a VIP. It was hysterical. And of course, you had an extra one for Lynn. It was very sweet. It was a lot of fun.
I told her I'm here. She goes, "What are you doing here?" I says, "I'm here to bring you a VIP pass." She goes, "Huh?" So I have a friend that's from Hudson who sings all over the place. He's a good singer. He plays at like Portuguese clubs and that kind of thing. So his sister lives in Tampa here. She's my sister-in-law. So we went to Orlando to the show, and I says to him, "Hey, we got there early." I says, "Where's the VIP section?" He goes, "We don't have a VIP section. This is at a Portuguese restaurant there he's playing." I said, "Well, listen, you better have them because we pay $30 each for these VIP passes." And I put mine on, and there was, the same thing I did with yours with the logo and his name said VIP. He goes, where'd you get this?" I said, "I thought you told you we pay $30 each for these. We have 4 of them. So don't tell me there's no VIP pass because that's a lot of money out down the drain." He goes, "Who'd you pay that to?" I says, "I don't know, some guy outside." So he calls the owner, the manager over, right? He says, "Hey, these guys have VIP passes. They paid $30 for each pass. What's going on here? My sister shouldn't have to pay for no VIP pass." The guy says, "We don't have a VIP pass." "Well, these guys paid $30. So the guy looked at me and I winked. He goes,
The owner?
he said, "It's well worth it." And so he went along with it. Now the singer, his name is Orlando. He was getting all upset because of this thing. So I said, "No, it's just a joke, man. I made this for." So he liked it so much that he asked me if he could have one. And he still has it hanging on his wall, I guess, all these years.
Somehow, after everything was said and done, I ended up with 3 of them. I think that's all there were in existence. And I'm thrilled to have those. That's hysterical. That was so funny. The guy, Barry and Mark on the band, loved it.
So if you look at the inside, I think there's 3 pictures or 3 or 4 pictures in each one. So you can get more sleeves and have a nice VIP section.
So we did have a VIP section that day, and you were the only one sitting in it. I didn't hear the cymbal.
So you don't hear the cymbal?
I just heard it then.
You see the
You're right, you're right. My drums are a little low volume.
You see the drumstick?
Yeah, I do.
Ah.
Uh-huh. Aha.
So we had a conversation, by the way, when my son came over to visit us. He shows up with the Red Sox Worcester hat. I think I sent you a picture.
That's where that W came from. Yes.
Yeah. He went over and saw the field. It was cool.
So this has been an ongoing underground theme of our podcast for several months now. Here's the 221 inaugural season schedule for the Worcester Red Sox.
Wow.
I am going to the Worcester Red Sox this afternoon, my first time ever to Poland Park.
All right.
I can't believe it's taken me this long, but it's really great because Chris Sale, who is one of our ace pitchers, is recovering from Tommy John surgery. And I got about to get back into Fenway for the big team. But in the meantime, they do these starts in minor leagues. So Chris Sale is pitching today for the Woo Sox.
So let me ask you a question. When you and Marco and Barry go, you guys are in an instrumental band. During the 7-inning break, where everybody sings Sweet Caroline. Do you guys sing or you just sit there?
Good one. I see what you did there. So this is a, my gosh, it's July 31st. How in the world did that happen?
I know,
4:05 start. We're playing the Buffalo Bisons.
Huh.
This will be exciting. I'm looking forward to it for lots of reasons, but the park is supposed to be spectacular, and I'll give you an update next time we.
Yeah, my son went there to see it, so he said it's real cool. So now, last time we did a podcast, we were talking about the Tampa Bay Lightning being 3-0 against the Canadians.
Yep.
And of course, they won the Stanley Cup, so that was 2 years in a row.
Yes, they did.
So now, when you refer to us, you don't say Tampa Bay, you say Champa Bay.
Oh, Tampa Bay.
Champa, yeah, Champa Bay.
I like that.
Yeah.
Like they have a football team down there, don't they? The Tampa Brady Gronkaneers. Is that the name of that team?
Yeah. So you guys have 5 guys up there?
Yeah.
So
Well, we got more than 5, but we definitely got 5 guys.
So my brother-in-law and niece is down here helping my in-laws because they're moving to Virginia. So Bosco wanted a burger, so we went to 5 guys. So I walk in, and I went over to the counter, and I said, "Hey, who's in charge?" So they pointed to the guy who was in charge and said, "Hey, I have a complaint here. This is bullshit." So what's the matter? I said, "What's the matter?" The sign outside says 5 guys. I walk in, there's 2 guys behind the counter and 3 young ladies. Where's the 5 guys? Where's the other 3 guys?
How did he react? What was his reaction?
He said, "Well, guys in the term that we mean guys, it's like, we're all guys here back here."
That's right. Guys, it's become gender neutral. So
It's good.
then he said, "Sir, please leave."
So I thought that was bullshit that it's 5 guys, but there wasn't 5 guys there.
Interesting. They were in the back. They got dishwashers,
Yeah. So
restaurant.
I'm driving to Orlando on I-4 from Tampa, and I saw a sign that said Florida Air Museum next exit. Oh shoot! My phone is ringing. I need to check the ringer
I
off.
like that. We
So,
should have taken that call on speakerphone.
So there's a sign that says Florida Air Museum next exit. So I said, "Oh shit!" So I took the exit and I followed the signs. I got to the parking spot there, the parking lot, and I said, "Air Museum, my ass! This is a regular building on the ground. What a ripoff!"
How did the guy at the desk like that one when you went in?
I didn't go in. I was so upset I didn't go in.
I don't blame you. You got to pick and choose who you give your business. You can't support something like that.
I got a little interesting story you might appreciate. I'm next door talking to my neighbor, and a pizza delivery guy pulls up across the street. There's only like 6 houses in my little street here. So when the guy got out of the car, he says, "Hey, hey." So he figures I'm the one that ordered the pizza. He comes over with the pizza. "How much?" He goes, $12.50. So I give him $15. I said, "Keep the change." He goes, "Oh, okay, thank you." And he drives away. So I grab a slice, and my neighbor grabs a slice, and we had a slice of pizza. And then we went over to the neighbor that actually ordered the pizza, and I knock on his door, says, "Hey, Rick, your pizza's here." He goes, "Where's the guy? I got to pay." I said, "I took care of it. Don't worry about it." He goes, "Oh, man, Tony, thank you so much. That was really nice of you." I said, "Yeah, no problem." He goes inside, and he goes back and says, "Hey, there's 2 slices missing." I said, "Come on, man. You got a free pizza. There's still 3 slices for you, 3 slices for your wife. There's only 2 of you. You're not happy with that? You got a free pizza. What's the matter with you?" He goes, "Wow." He goes, "I got to admit, that's pretty funny."
What's the matter with you?
What's the matter with you? Oh,
So you
boy.
can blame it on the driver and have him call the restaurant. That would have been funny.
So did you have another lesson with your pilot lesson? Did you go up and fly?
Yesterday, as a matter of fact. So this is an interesting story. Monday, I had a lesson at 5 in the afternoon. And my instructor texted me saying, it's too hazy, we're not going to fly, but that's fine. We still do ground school. There's a lot of teaching back and forth. But the haze we have here is from those forest fires on the West Coast. 3,000 miles later, we got haze in New England.
Wow.
I mean, it really puts in perspective just how big this is, that this smoke and haze can travel 3,000 miles.
What the haze, man?
Right. But yesterday I had a lesson and I actually logged. When I say log, I actually have a pilot log book that he has to sign. I logged my first landing yesterday.
Oh, that's awesome, huh?
And I'm here to tell about it. So it's good news. Yeah, it's crazy.
Tell about it. Wow.
So this is up in Fitchburg. We're like, Fitchburg is a small city. We're taxiing out. There's nobody around. There's nobody in the air. We're by ourselves, which is great. And we're taxiing out towards the end of the runway where we're going to taxi on and then go the other direction. And so I'm looking, he says, clear left and clear right. And I look down and I said, is there a dog on the runway? There was this running across. He goes, oh, that's a coyote. There's a coyote family here in the airport property out in the woods. This thing was the size of a German Shepherd. And I'm like, wow. And then we took off and came back pretty quick and did it again. And he was going back the other direction. And he was telling me about the instructor, not the coyote. He was telling me about safety measures the airport has to take. They have some piece of equipment installed, which is like 2 feet by 2 feet by 6 feet, big black box connected to a propane tank, and it measures movement on the runway that's not a plane. It can tell the difference and ignites the propane and shoots off a cannon blast, just the sound, to scare anything off the runway, like coyotes and deer.
Oh.
Amazing.
So you landed the first time, so that requires one of these. Oops, I'm sorry. Oh, one of these.
So I took off yesterday on my own. Of course, there's an instructor next to me, not letting us get into too much trouble, which was exciting. And did a stall, which was nerve-wracking, but important. And then with some help from him, but landed, and it's like, man, making progress. It's so cool. And saw a coyote. Crazy day, but it was fun.
Does the plane have a little beep thing, like beep beep, when you saw the coyote?
Like a horn. Beep
beep beep.
Let me roll the window down and yell at have some road rage at that guy.
So you ever go to a restaurant where they have a little fish bowl where you drop your business card in there to win a free lunch?
Sure.
So I have a card that I use for that.
Well, let me see what that says. Oh, you're going to put your phone up here and everything. Oh, potential lunch winner. I love that you've updated this with pictures of different cuisines.
So I got a call one day from Ameriprise Financial.
That's all usually the financial planners. That's what they do. Yeah.
So he says, hey, this is so-and-so from Ameriprise Financial. I said, hi. He goes, so we have a fishbowl at Chili's over there in Oldsmar where people drop their business card in there to win a free lunch. I said, oh, that's great. He goes, no, you didn't win. I said, so why are you calling me? He goes, well, because we take those cards and we spread them out amongst the agents as a way for them to contact people, see if they can get appointments.
Everybody wins, right? Kind of.
So he says, this one guy that got your card was laughing like crazy. We said, what's so funny? He goes, you got to see this guy's card. So they passed the card around to the whole meeting, right? He says, we had so much fun with your card that was really funny. That if you give me your address, I'll send you a $25 gift certificate, even though you didn't win. I said, well, I guess it's a win to me. That's so cool, huh?
Pay for the printing of that card.
I bought one of those, cards that you print on your own computer. I created the card, and you print a sheet of them. Like they were all perforated, so you can just break them off, and they're right there.
Yeah. Vistaprint.
I paid, well, not Vistaprint. It's like
oh, something like it.
Yeah, so you print it yourself, and then you just rip them off because they're perforated. It cost me $6 to do that, and I got $25 gift certificate.
You're up $19 in the black. So what else is new? I spent a weekend in Indianapolis a couple of weekends ago.
Yeah, how was that?
Oh my God, we had a great time. What a cool little city. I surprised Lynn with it because it was her birthday. And we flew out there on a Friday and flew back on a Monday and just kind of uncovered the city. Had a great time. It was fun.
So when I was selling cars, I used to sell StarCraft conversion vans, and I always won the competition in New England. So they'd send me out 2 tickets to go to Indianapolis to the time trials or to the race, Indianapolis 500. I could pick one or the other. Stay at the Hyatt and stuff. And Johnny, I think it was John Rutherford or the racer.
I know that name, Johnny Rutherford. Yeah.
Yeah, so because we're part of that group, that StarCraft was one of the sponsors on his car, so we get to have dinner with him. And then people ask him questions. So somebody said to him, "Hey, when you're driving those in a car like that in that traffic and you're doing 240 miles an hour, isn't that like hectic?" He goes, "Well, it's actually safer than being on the highway because I'm driving next to people that are professional drivers."
Fair.
Wow.
Fair.
Yeah.
We actually went to the Speedway. I was really blown away. Neither of us are like race people, but you kind of have to do it. And I bought us, we got a golf cart tour of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Oh, yeah.
So the young kid who's 20, 21 years old, whose grandfather works there. I mean, he grew up around this. So it didn't even feel like we were on a tour. He was just talking about his passion. And it was about a 2.5 hour tour, I think. We went the place is enormous. Have you been there for the Indianapolis 500?
I have, yeah.
So I was embarrassed. I didn't know anything. I actually said to the guy, "When is the race run?" I didn't even know. And he says, "Over Memorial Day weekend." They had no idea how connected Indianapolis, I guess, as the capital city is to its fallen heroes. And there were monuments everywhere.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They were showing some video, like one of those 10-minute, introductory films about everything. And they play taps, the Army Corps is there. They're playing taps for all the fallen heroes, and so emotional. It was very powerful. And then 420,000 people show up and walk in for this event and sit in the grandstands. Probably the thing that blew me away the most. And we were inside walking everywhere. We got to sit down at the media center where you actually see it on TV with all the stuff. And I were there interviewing each other. We got some pictures. It was hysterical. I didn't know that Frank Penske had just bought this last year, just before COVID. He bought the whole thing. And they didn't know how much because it was a private sale, but it was north of 300 million and south of $1 billion. So they kind of estimate $500 million. And then everything shuts down with COVID. And part of what he bought was there's a golf course right next door called the brickyardcrossing.com. Of course, the Brickyard 400 is another race there.
Right.
And I learned about the actual brick pavement, the brick in the finish line, the brick 3-foot wide brick thing. But the brickyardcrossing.com is a golf course next door, and we didn't play the course, but 4 of the holes in your golf cart, you go underneath the speedway and you come up inside the oval, and 4 of the holes are inside the oval. I was blown away. And it still doesn't, they had a map of all the stuff you could fit inside. It was like the White House and the Vatican and Yankee Stadium. And without even, it was enormous. I could not get over the size. I was very thankful it was a golf cart tour, not a walking tour. But it was really cool.
So when I went to the time trials, that's where the cars are doing how they're going to qualify to see who's in the sequence of when the cars take off.
Yeah.
So when they come around the 4th turn, they're doing like about 230, 240 miles an hour.
Yeah.
You see them coming, you go, vroom, it's like crazy fast. Crazy fast. So one of the guys was sitting there next to me says, "Listen, go down to the wall and turn your back to it so you can't see them coming, so that they shoot up from behind you."
Yeah.
I went down there with Terry. So, we saw that the guys were coming around the corner, so I turned my back. And when it comes out behind you, when you're looking at it and you're going, it's really fast. But when it comes from behind you, you see a little helmet on top of this little coca. It is totally amazing how fast it is. Terry got she ran back up to the front. She couldn't take it. I said, "Wow,
crazy." We were so enthralled with just the whole concept. I was like, I gotta put this in the bucket list. I would go back for the Indianapolis 500. What a blast that would be.
So when I was there, they have a thing called the Union Station. I think it was called. It was like an old train station, but they converted it to like a food court and some stores and stuff. And they had a booth there where they could take a picture and put it on what appears to be a magazine cover.
Oh, nice.
So excuse me, just one second. I got to show you something.
You're so polite. When I walked through, I didn't say excuse me. Cover a road and track.
So here's what's funny about this. What I want to tell you. I had her on top of the table, and Terry and I were eating, and it was a bus boy, I guess, whatever you call it, was cleaning the table next to us. And he's
Yeah.
looking at me, and he's looking at that picture on the table. He's looking at me, and he's looking at the picture. He's like, so he goes, "Hey, is that you?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Wow, who are you?" I said, "Tony." He says, "Tony who?" I said, "Tony Cabral." He goes, "Oh."
Oh, that's funny.
So then he asked me to get my autograph. So I signed my autograph. Best of luck to you. He doesn't know who I am.
Tony, well, he does. Sure, he does.
I see he was going over there at the other side of the room, and he's talking to 2 or 3 guys that are also bus boys. There's like a big area. So they come over, they want autographs too. I'm giving them autographs, and Terry says, "What are you doing?" I says, "They want my autograph." It's never happened to me before.
Tony was like, oh, almost apologizing. I didn't recognize you, Mr. Cabral. I
Yeah,
apologize.
that's what it was like. It was one of those things. And probably all these
Speedway was the Speedway was definitely one of the big hits in Indianapolis. The other one was she's a big zoo fan. Indianapolis Zoo. Wow, it's been a long time since I've been to the zoo. It's really cool, and zoos have gone from like cages to like habitats for these animals to be living as habitat as possible. And we spent all day at this zoo. It was a great time. It was a lot of fun.
Nice.
And then just kind of walking around. There's a very famous restaurant called St. Elmo's Steakhouse. I was kind of leading her on because I had reservations months in advance for this place. On Sunday night, we were leaving the next day. And every time we got in an Uber, I'd say, "Oh, just in from the Boston area, visiting for the weekend." "Oh, that's great." And I would say, "Hey, what's the best restaurant in town?" Because I knew they were going to say, everyone said, "Oh, St. Elmo's." So when we took the Uber, because everything was a surprise to her, we got in there and it was a beautiful meal. Beautiful. A couple steaks, different steaks, and a couple glasses of wine and spectacular birthday dinner.
So when I went there, they asked me, "Do you have reservations?" I said, "I do, but I'm hungry enough to eat here anyway."
I like that. I got a few, but I'm going to give it a try anyhow. I got to remember that one.
Whoa.
That's funny. Lynn's a trooper. I got to hand it to her because she was totally up for the surprise. She didn't even know we were going until we got to the airport and she saw me print off the baggage tags.
So why did you choose Indianapolis? Because
for no real reason, it came up in conversation with us a couple of different times. I had been there for a convention. God, it's got to be 15 or 20 years ago. And when you're in a city for a convention, you just kind of like, you don't really see it. You're just there for all the business. But I always remember really liking it. And I kind of just always liked that kind of that Midwestern, like I fall into that prejudice of like, everybody's nice. And I always want someone to play games with myself about if I just picked up and moved and started over, where would I live? And somehow it came up. I said, I could live in Indianapolis in a heartbeat. I didn't even know why. And so it would come up in these conversations. And when it came time for a weekend, I'm like, let's just go uncover a city. You can do it in any city, So.
Yeah, I mean,
Travel's getting back after COVID too. Some places to get to are pretty expensive. And apparently not many people are going to Indianapolis. So it was, I was pleasantly surprised when I got the prices back on the flights. I'm like, oh, let's do this.
Yeah, that's cool, man. So when
It's
I met Lynn, she's just such a nice person, man.
It was fun, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Stayed in an Airbnb, which really lets you kind of like live. It was the top floor, 1-bedroom condo with this building. The unit was spectacular. The building was, I guess, as the weekend went on, it was a little sketchy from some of the people we saw coming and going, but the unit we had was spectacular. And versus like a hotel room, we got a living room and we got a kitchen, and I did a little shopping for the fridge, and you could really kind of live. So I'm a big fan of Airbnb. I've really never been disappointed.
Well, that's good. That's awesome, man.
It was fun.
Good for you.
It was a great time. Nice
Won't be long before you can fly over there yourself.
Yeah, that's gonna be a long flight, but we actually talked about that too. It's a better part of a day. Better than take a jet.
So when you're doing the lesson, how long are you up in the air?
So a 2-hour lesson, we log on average about 1.3 hours of flight time. Yesterday was exactly an hour for a 2-hour lesson.
Wow.
Stuff before we leave and walk out there. He was explaining to me like the pre-flight checklist, very important, takes us a long time because I'm really new to all this. We're going down through each thing, and there's a whole system. You got to walk the outside. You start inside, then you walk the outside of the plane, and you're checking the gas tanks, and it's a pretty long checklist, but he said our checklist today took 30 minutes because you're new to this and it's supposed to, but as you get more accomplished, that'll take less time. So probably a 2-hour lesson will probably result in about 1.3 hours of flight time.
You do the most important check was where you like this. And check where the wind's going.
Wind was moving yesterday. 12 knots with gusts to 18, coming in from about 320 degrees, 330.
That's kind of crazy, huh?
So we took off, which you want to do, directly into the wind, but was blowing that hard. And you just kind of lift up and that wind grabs the underneath of the wing. That's the lift you need to, it just pops you right off the ground. It was unbelievable.
So now is the lift happen because of the wind under the wing, or is it that goes over the wing in the
So great question. So this is, I just got something came up my screen. That's, oh my goodness, what just happened there?
maybe you don't want to have a real question yet today, do you?
What's that?
I always thought that the lift was because the wing is like shaped in a way that the wind goes over it and creates a suction.
It has a lot to do with it, actually. They have the wing, the underneath of the wing is flatter than the top of the wing.
Right.
So the distance from the front edge of the wing to the back is longer over the top of the wing, which is part of lift.
Creates the lift, yeah. You see, I knew something about it.
Yeah. He asked me to do a stall. Oh my God, this is so scary to me. Well, I did my discovery flight with him, which is when they, quite frankly, try to scare the crap out of you and have you walk away.
Right.
He goes, I'm going to do a stall. So what I know about a stall is that your airspeed gets so slow or your pitch gets so high that you lose enough, you don't have enough speed to keep lift and you drop. So the whole thing stalls. Whether the engine's on or not, you're playing a stall, then it's not flying.
Right.
Which means you kind of, and I'm like, oh, and he said, I'm going to do it. And I said, okay, I've read about this. This scares me a lot. He goes, oh, this is nothing. And it really wasn't. So yesterday he says, why don't have you do a stall? I'm like, oh, good Lord. So you're just, you're pulling the throttle all the way back and you're pulling back on this to get a higher pitch. And and your airspeed drops into the 30s. And all of a sudden you hear this little beep going, which is a warning. Yeah. And stalled. And all you do is drop the nose and full throttle and you pick up airspeed. I mean, it's over in a second and a half, but it's a weird concept.
Wow.
But important part of learning so that you're ready for it if it ever happens.
Yeah, you have to know what to do if it does happen. Yeah.
I'm having a good time, having some fun.
Good for you, man. That's awesome.
2 hours in my logbook. He has to sign it because it's very official, the instructor, and it's under, I'm sure, penalties of perjury or something. And he said, you logged your first landing today. I'm like, wow.
So by the way, with Stillface, when I was talking to Marco, I don't know where I started speaking Portuguese. So I know he's Brazilian, so I know he speaks Portuguese. He looked at me like, whoa.
I remember that was funny. I walked up on you guys. And I think as I got to the two of you, because you just met for the first time, pretty much to talk, and I'm remembering, oh, wait a minute, he's from Brazil and you're from the Azores. And no, I made a joke, and because you're just chatting, and I made a joke like, oh, I thought you might be speaking in your native tongue. And so then you started speaking in Portuguese. And I think he was, you knew he was, but I think he was a little surprised by your fluency. Yeah. And I pretty quickly determined you were talking about me. So then I walked away.
Yeah, because instead of, not stopping talking about you, I figured we could just go to Portuguese. We could keep talking about you.
That's why I left.
About you anyway.
That's why I left. It was a really cool mix of people who I had there. One friend in particular, who I don't see a lot, he was texting with me yesterday saying, man, I never had a chance to thank you because we left in the rain, but it was so fun. I met some really great people. It's nice.
So on the way up there, I took the CD. I figured, if the car that I was in had a CD player.
I know it wasn't.
Huh?
I know what CD it wasn't that you brought.
No, I know because it's stuck in my car. But so here's the problem that I have right now is I don't know what happened to that CD. I can't find it. I don't know if I left it up there. I asked my brother to see if I left it in the bedroom that I was in. He said no, so I'm not sure what happened. I might have to request another one or something.
Do you remember what the CD was?
It was your CD, Stillface.
I got a connection, so I could probably help you out there.
Yeah, because I'm disappointed. I played it in my computer because the first when I first got it, I was in the computer. I played it, and I should have saved it to my music thing, whatever. But I didn't.
I can solve your disappointment there.
Yeah.
It'll last you another 4 days, 5 at the most. And anybody watching, I'm happy to have you provide you with a CD as well. How do they get in touch with us? Can they email us at nohissyfitzone.com? I guess that doesn't work.
No, but they can go nohissyfit at gmail.com or something like that. Or maybe it's Tony and Matt. No, we have
Or something like that. Yeah, get in touch with us, kind of like that.
We have a Gmail account.
Oh.
Yeah.
If they can figure out how to get in touch with them, they deserve a free CD. So I'm happy to do it.
You said something about the banner or something, or the name.
Yeah.
You even notice this is a different banner than I had before.
Well, I said that because you called me out having not recognized it last time. So I said, hey, nice new banner. Knowing it was. Is it just differently shaped?
No, the other one said Tony and Michael Copperwhite. Tony Cabral and Michael Copperwhite. Then it said No Hissy Fit Zone. Then it said Tony and Michael Copperwhite in the bottom too. So I said, no, just get rid of that and go with the name that you really like, the No Hissy Fit Zone.
I like part of it, yeah. I like the middle part really good.
Yeah, Michael wants it to be called Hissy Fit Zone. I want it to be called.
No, not even zone, just Hissy Fit.
Just Hissy Fit.
Just like, well, we don't need to talk about it again because we've talked about it enough, but I just like that word. I think it's a great name for a band. Or maybe just a song name. Oh, this is it. Because for some reason, well, this is funny too, because as an instrumental band, the fact that we name our songs is kind of silly anyway, but we do. So for some reason, I kind of have a little bit, my ideas kind of get accepted by everybody quicker around song names. I think because nobody really cares. But I think I'm going to set our goal right here to have a song called Hissy Fit.
So Joe Walsh has that Funk 49?
Yes.
But he has a bunch of other funks.
That from us.
He has a bunch of other funks that, build up to 49. That wasn't just sometimes when he did a song that he didn't know how to call it, he just called it Funk 1, Funk 2, Funk 3, whatever.
It's funny. I was just going to correct you because I misheard you because I thought you said song 49. I'm like, yeah, but then I realized, it's Funk 49. I used to play that song in a cover band. Yeah, that's a good tune.
Good tune, yeah.
I just got it playing in my head, as a matter of fact. Okay, cool.
And so the bass player for ZZ
Top. You guys gigging tonight?
No.
Oh.
But the bass player for ZZ Top passed away.
Oh.
Great stuff, man. Those guys.
There was a lot of deaths this last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and the funny thing is all these people that died had never died before. It's really strange.
First time.
First time that they died, yeah.
Not to make light of dying, because now I feel like we're insensitive jerks, and that's not who we are. Joey Jordison, who was the drummer for Slipknot, died at 46 years old. Crazy. The violin player from Kansas died.
Oh, wow. So he lives here close to me. There's a local band called Stormbringer. And we're a really tight band. So when they play,
you went and saw them. I remember this, yeah.
So when they would play locally, the violin player would show up because they're good friends, and he would fit in for a few songs. Yeah, I could play the violin, man.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that he passed.
Kansas, boy, that had some classic. I mean,
wow.
Carry On My Wayward Son. How do you not just like air guitar and air drum and air vocal that? Oh my goodness.
That was awesome, yeah.
Yeah. Dust in the Wind.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So on your next CD, the number one song is going to be Hissy Fit.
Well, if we do a CD single and there's only one song on it, then it would be the number one song. I like the name Hissy Fit. We got 3 or 4 new songs. My favorite probably being a song called Gravel Yard. And we were just about to play it at the side yard gig when the rain, so we never even got to play it when I was disappointed, but that's a good one. Jacob the Liar, Second Dose, and we got some other stuff we're messing with. I think I'm gonna work Hissy fit into this.
Yeah, Jacob the Liar is the one that sounds almost like
Almost. You mean like exactly like Game of Thrones?
Game of
That's
Thrones.
the
Yeah. Wow.
we tried to kind of change it to have that be less so. The public will decide.
So how do you come up? How do you
And
come
if we
up
get
with
sued by the if we get sued by the Game of Thrones, that's probably the best thing that could happen to us for notoriety.
Wow. So how do you come up with a name for a song that doesn't have any lyrics?
I think it has something to do with kind of what's going on and just kind of how it makes you feel. You know, like Hissy Fit to me has to be a pretty aggressive tune, right? With some stuff going on. It's not a ballad.
So the favorite song that I've ever written is called "Save the Pain for Later." Really cool. It's about a couple that met at in the schoolyard, and she was always like not being as cool as she should be with him, and it builds up, builds up, builds up, and so the chorus is "Save the pain for later. You don't want to be a hater." You say that a few times and stuff.
I love it.
The first lyric is,
look at you with your rhymes, busting rhymes out.
They first met at the schoolyard. Man, she was so cool. But in front of his friends, she made him feel like a fool. Save the pain for later. Save the pain for later. You don't want to be a hater. That's what this thing is.
Oh.
Then it goes on, and from there on, and then finally they ended up in divorce. And instead of saying "save the pain for later," you don't want to be a hater. It's more like, "No, I really hate her. You really want to be a hater," type of thing. It's really cool.
That's Puddle of Mud about "I Hate You." It's a great song.
Yeah. So
Mud is a cool band. This is a band that my daughter turned me on to. My daughter's a big Puddle of Mud fan. And so I took her to see them.
Wow.
She would have been in high school at the time, and we drove out to Albany to some club in a strip mall with her best friend, who just had a birthday yesterday, Emma. Happy birthday, Emma. And we went and saw Puddle of Mud. I was really impressed. It was awesome. And there was a warm-up band there that night, which you can always tell if you like them because they bought their CD. They're called Rev Theory. And I think they used to be called Revelation Theory. They shortened it to Rev Theory. They were amazing. And then years later, it turns out that Marco in my band, who lives in Natick, who goes to this used music store, actually where I bought my most recent drums, the drummer for that band, Rev Theory, works at this store in Natick.
Wow.
And Marco's like, "Oh my God, my drummer loves you guys." And he shows up for rehearsal day with a Rev Theory t-shirt for me from the drummer.
So Marco lived in Hudson,
Marco lives in Natick now. Did he live in Hudson before?
He used to live in Hudson. So he used to go to him and I had a thing that we never knew, but there's a store that he used to go into in Hudson because the guy that owned the store was a really awesome guy. He did all these stories. You could sit there and listen to him forever.
Was this the old guy who had 10 kids?
Yeah.
Marco did tell me stories about him, yes.
So we were sharing stories about that. One of the stories that I told that he really liked. So we're talking about Mr. Betancourt.
Yep.
He had a little music store in Hudson. And then when we started playing, I think I told you about this before, but when I think about it, it amazes me. After we had been going and we, I told you how we got started and how we learned some songs.
Yeah.
We were rehearsing and he walks up into the room where we're rehearsing. He kind of nodded at me like to say hi. And then he walks over to my guitar and he takes one of the pegs and turns it just a little bit. And he goes, I'm like, how did he hear that? There's like 5 instruments going. There's a drummer, a keyboard, bass, 2 guitars. And he heard that one of my strings was a little bit off and he knew which one it was. I mean, talk about hearing.
That's crazy. As you were playing, he remember tweaked it and walked away.
Yeah, and he went like this. He gave me a thumbs up. So one time when I was up there, I went to the Marlboro. In Marlboro, there was a music store there. And I was talking to the guy. He says, "So you local?" I says, "Well, I lived in Hudson for years, but I live in Tampa now." He goes, "Oh, you lived in Hudson. So do you know the Betancourts?" I said, "Yeah, they're good friends of mine." He goes, "So you know Zeke the Beak?" And I had no idea who Zeke the Beak was. I said, "Zeke the Beak? I don't know." He goes, "So Mr. Betancourt his name was Ezekiel."
Oh.
He had a pretty good nose, so they call him Zeke the Beak.
Ah.
You know what he told me? He says, "This is so crazy." He says, "You know that freaking guy and we loved him. So he says, that friggin' guy could tune a piano with no pitchfork. And if you're a musician, people always have pitchforks to get
Yeah.
what they need. You know what I mean?
Oh, look at you.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
So that's a C.
C.
So I guess he would tune pianos without a pitchfork, and that's you gotta have perfect hearing, man. They're one of those what do they call it?
Perfect pitch.
Perfect pitch. Boom.
Few people out there have that. I don't have any drummers who have that, but hey, so this guy in Marlboro, is this guy's name Jim? Did he own that store? Is this Mr. C's Music?
Mr. C's, yeah, I don't remember his name, but yeah.
Yeah, I knew Jim Clement. He owned that store. Yeah, I knew him years ago. I knew a couple of guys. His son Sean is quite an accomplished guitar player and moved to Hollywood years ago to write film scores for music. And there was a kid named Wally in there who told me some great stories and turned me on some really good music too.
Yeah.
Mr.
If you go
C.
there, tell him, hey, one of my friends told me a story that he told him about Zeke the Beak.
Zeke the Beak.
Zeke the Beak.
That's so funny.
Wow. So what's
Wow.
going
We don't do this time. I got to go get ready for a baseball game.
Ooh.
I'm excited.
When you go to a baseball game, do you bring your glove?
You know, it's funny you say that. I was told yesterday that I have to bring a glove because apparently we can go on the field after the game and like play catch on the field.
Wow.
I'm like, can't. She's like, yeah. I'm like, so I said, I would like to think I've got a glove. I'm not sure I could find it. And she found an extra lefty for me. And so, yeah, I'm bringing a glove. I'm going to catch a foul ball for you.
So when I was a teenager, I played soccer from about age 12 to age 18, you know, so. And then one time at Raymond James Stadium with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the champions, the Super Bowl champs, there was a thing going on there I was a realtor, and there was a builders association or had invited us all over and fed us
Yeah.
to eat. You know, they're promoting their houses that they have, their communities that they're building houses at. And then during the break, we all went to eat, and then we went to the field, and we could throw the ball around and stuff.
Nice.
And they had a little competition for people that could kick a field goal. And I think it was like from the 21-yard line or something like that. So I went there and boom, kick it just like it was a soccer ball, and right through the so I won something. I forget what it was, but it was a big deal for me.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Polar Park, Chris Sale starting for the Worcester Red Sox. Perhaps this will be the motivation I need to get the appropriate shirt for next time.
So what do they call them? The Worcester Woos or something?
Well, it's called the Worcester Red Sox. Worcester's always been shortened down to Woo Town, so they call them the Woo Sox, WOO, Woo Sox.
Oh, Moose Sox. That's what it is. Okay.
So then in the big leagues, we got the Boston Red Sox in first place, and the Tampa Bay Rays are right there chasing them. So we're past the trade deadline. Tampa Bay got a little stronger in the trade deadline, I saw, and the Red Sox kind of really didn't. A little disappoinning. And
if the Rays won, and then it would be really Tampa Bay.
Yes, but
did you see when the Buccaneers were at the White House?
I didn't see it.
Yeah, you know how they go to the White House and stuff.
Yeah.
So Joe Biden was talking stuff, and then Tom Brady was talking. And even Joe Biden said, looked like it was tough for you guys for a while because you were 7-5 halfway through the season. And then you guys pulled it off. He says, you're never too old to do something great. So he's talking about the coach because the coach is the oldest coach, I guess. It was somebody. And so when Tom Brady said, when he was talking, he says, we have a great team here. This is a championship team, and so glad to be here. He says something like, a lot of people didn't think we're going to make it. In fact, 40% of them still don't think that we won. Can you relate to that, Mr. President? Oh, it was so funny. It was really funny.
I didn't see that. That's funny.
Yeah.
Humor.
Oh.
Can you relate to that?
And he goes, yeah, I can relate to that.
That's cute. That is cute.
Too funny.
I'm glad to be back on track with our No Hissy Fit Zone podcast. I'm sure our listeners are as well.
This is a big milestone for us because this is the number 10.
Watch out, Joe Rogan. That's all I got to say is watch out, Joe Rogan.
Yeah, Joe's nervous. I think for him to calm down a little bit, if he just invited us to go to his show and be like guests, he'd be better off about us.
Well, as things kind of progress here, I wouldn't probably mind hiring him to like produce our show when he's out of work. That, we could talk about that.
Yeah, he's got some experience. So I watched another episode the other day of Mike Tyson's Hot Boxing.
I tried. I couldn't do it.
So he had Oscar De La Hoya on there.
Oh.
And there's always one person that's like the host. And then that guy's an MMA fighter. Mexican
Okay.
MMA fighter. He's really good. So the conversation was so awesome.
I like Oscar.
Yeah, Oscar's great.
Yeah.
So my son Eric that does all those photo shoots of famous people now in LA. He did a shoot with Oscar.
Huh. You and I talked a few podcasts ago around celebrities and how they don't want to be role models and leave me alone, and is there a responsibility for them to be a role model? Oscar De La Hoya is a great role model.
Oh yeah.
I hold him in high esteem.
So I was talking to a couple that I ran into yesterday that I've known for years, and they had their children with them. So I said, "Well, hey, what grade you in?" He goes, "Oh, I'm in high school." I said, "High school? Man, high school was the best 7 years of my life." And the parents laughed right away. He's thinking this guy's stupid.
Hence the 7 years in high school.
Yeah.
He was done.
I always do that if I meet kids. And I say, "How old are you?" They say, "I'm 9." It's 9. When I was your age, I was 10. And then just like you, the parents always laugh, but the kids always look like this guy's stupid or something. They don't think it's funny.
You're just following through in your mission statement to freak out little kids around the U.S.
Maybe I'll go see him and sign an autograph on the cover of the magazine.
You got some credibility. You're an accomplished racer.
I'm not a total slouch. All right, Mr. Michael.
I'm available next week. Let's do 11 next week.
Yeah.
11.
Ooh. So the one that ended up in the Hissy fit, we only did 4. Look how much further we've gone without no Hissy fit. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
me neither. Something in the past, that's all.
Leave the past in the past. That's why they call it the past.
Yeah, leave it there.
It's kind of nice.
So you want to hear an interesting story that I thought was awesome? When we were at the Cape Cod, my son left an envelope with some money in the room. A little bit of money, quite a bit of money. So we get to Hudson and he's like looking for it. He says, "Dad, I can't find my envelope with the money." I said, "Oh no." I happen to have the card of the guy at the hotel. I said, "Hey, we just checked out at 308 this morning, and my son left something behind in the room." He goes, "I have it on my desk." I said, "Wow." You think the housekeeper finds an envelope with money. She never opened the envelope, but she could tell it was an envelope with money, and turned it into the thing. So when I called the guy, he says, "Oh yeah, you're the funny guy, right?" I says, "Yeah, I guess so." He goes, "Yeah, I remember you." Because when I first went to check in, I says, "Liz," he was in back there with the lady. He says, "Hi," I says, "So I got good news. I just bought this place. Everybody's getting a raise and a bonus." He loved that idea. So then I told him a couple of stupid jokes and showed him a couple of my stupid jokes. So when I called, he remembered me as the funny guy. He said, "I have it here." I says, "Well, we're in Hudson already, but my nephew is still in P-Town. Can he pick it up?" He says, "Yeah, what's his name?" And give me his name and stuff and tell him to come over. I'll get him. So he picked up the envelope and bought it to my son. It was crazy.
Beautiful story. Says good. I love stories that say good things about humanity. That's a beauty.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome. So one time when I was in Indianapolis, when I went to the time trials, I had at the time I owned the Rolex. I went to the bathroom, washed my hands, and I took it off. And then I walked around with Terry and stuff. And I went to look at my watch, and it wasn't there. I said, "What the heck?" I'm trying to find what happened to my watch. I go to that bathroom, which is like on the 5th floor somewhere where my room was at, and the watch was still sitting on the sink, on top of the sink in the bathroom.
Really?
Yeah. Crazy.
Good people out there.
Yeah.
Well,
Go on.
hey, listen, enjoy your weekend.
You too, buddy.
Always a pleasure.
Same here. You're the best.
Remember, September 4th, still face side yard, VIP seating.
Come on, one time. You know what it is? I think there must be a delay between when I play it and you hear it.
I was perfect.
No. I think that's what it is. It's probably a delay.
Progress, not perfection.
So go 2 seconds early.
Okay. Well, I didn't even hear anything there. Do it again. No, I didn't hear it.
Oh, now you're messing with me.
I got nothing. I can't hear it.
So that's your excuse for not doing it on time because you don't hear it. Okay, I get you.
You sound like my bandmates. Oh.
Oh, buddy.
Love you, brother.
Hey, man, love you too, buddy.
See you soon.
See ya.